Well, how will you ensure that young people have opportunities to really participate civically in their government processes?
Yeah, I've given this a lot of thought, and when I was a school board member, whenever we had a really big issue, I used to go visit, make the advisor put me on the agenda of the All-City Council. And the All-City Council is much more serious now than when I started. When I started, people just sort of got together, they had a good time, they did some dancing, did some singing, whatever. And at the beginning when I came, I'm sure it was sort of a drag because, you know, I asked them about issues of teen pregnancy, reconfiguration of schools, and we had actually a session on internship and one on violence. And so I'd like to see the school district at the high school level develop an assembly system, and I don't know what they do now, but I know at Fremont High School we had a rep from every homeroom. And what's good about that is if you just take the city council and elected, or the school student council, you tend to get the kids who are a little bit more upwardly bound anyhow. But when you did a homeroom system, you had a much better cross-section of kids. And then that group picked people to go to All-City Council. It wasn't just the officers automatically. And I'd like to see All-City Council be used, because I think they're even more representative than the Youth Commission, because Youth Commission tends to be, you know, council members appoint kids and whatever, but I'd like to see the All-City Council be a touching spot for a lot of civic issues. So as mayor, I'd actually like to meet with All-City Council a couple times a year. And I'd like to ask them to study and prepare positions on major issues. Like my daughter, okay, so I'm just, my daughter I know worked with kids last year when the the school board was deciding what the graduation standard should be. So the kids studied it, they came out with their own position. The school board, it was an amazing report, I watched it. And you know, that's more than my mom pride that my daughter helped work with them. But I thought that it was clear that they'd researched it, they really believed in their position, and it was the position that the school board accepted. My own experience as a school board member, that is when you gave All-City Council a serious thing, that they would come up with some serious responses. And I think that we need to use that more, and I particularly like to see the school district use the assembly system to pick people to All-City Council so that you would get this wide cross-section of kids, kids who are not necessarily going on to college, kids who don't usually run for student body officer, but who are more representative. I'd like to fund, this is, if I could, I would like to, this would be one of my special projects, I'd like to fund a summer session of All-City Council, of the incoming ones, so that across schools they could talk to each other. Because I help fund and get the kids a chance to go to the Stanford program where the student body leaders get trained. And why did I do that? For two reasons. One is that there used to be a lot more gang fights between different high schools, and I know it's starting to come back again. But it was a chance for student leaders at least to get to know each other turf-wise and develop friendships across the city that I think actually helped bring down some of the gang violence in the early years when I was a school board member. And it also helped them understand each other and develop more of this sort of citywide perspective. And so I'd like to invest a lot in that kind of youth leadership. But again, I want it not to just be the elected officers, but to be a broader spectrum of people. In terms of the boards and commissions, Mr. Dellums has tried to appoint young people to quite a few boards and commissions. It's just, he took a huge amount of time to make any appointments of boards, so they got a very slow start. So again, that would be a good reason, again, to be able to work for All-City Council early that summer each year to try to, what I've tried to do, even on my youth commission appointments, is get somebody who could be on for at least 2 years. So it's not just resume building for your high school or your college application, but somebody who would be committed and who would know the issues for at least 2 years. And so that would be the other thing that I would say that I would do differently.